At the age of 59, I had never been to a concert. My parents didn't believe in music or fun. In 1964, when 73 million people tuned into the Ed Sullivan Show to watch the Beatles, 12-year-old me wasn't one of them. My mother saw me turn on the television and she said, "It's a waste of time. Go to your room and do something constructive." Then Labor Day weekend 2012, my son and daughter-in-law came at the last minute to Philadelphia to visit so they could go to a Bruce Springsteen concert. I knew nothing about the man and had no interest in seeing him. But a few hours before the show, I decided to push myself up off the couch and go because I wanted to spend time with my kids. That summer, I had undergone my third regimen of ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, to treat severe recurrent depression. The treatment had to be stopped halfway through because I was losing my memory. As a result of the memory loss, I didn't remember the July wedding of my son and daughter-in-law. I didn't remember the ceremony, the guests, anything. But now we were together at the stadium, and when we got to our seats, Lindsay and Robert started telling me wedding stories and showing me pictures on their phones. In one picture, Lindsay and Robert are flanked on one side by Lindsay's parents and on the other side by my husband, Andy, and me. Lindsay and Robert are beaming. Lindsay's parents are smiling. Andy's smiling. I'm staring directly into the camera, trance-like, vacant. I'm not smiling. I'm not frowning. I am not there. Looking at my catatonic face in the photograph, I felt a jab in my heart. I felt like a tourist in my own life. Then suddenly the crowd mysteriously rose in unison, and I rose too. And up on the screen was the face of a man with the biggest, kindest smile I had ever seen. I felt my heart opening for this man. His energy filled the stadium. His energy filled me. I was swaying and clapping and smiling. This man, who at 62 and 3 years older than me, did not stop. If he could keep going like this, so could I. For 3+ hours, Bruce Springsteen's energy, enthusiasm, and humanity lifted me. For 3+ hours, Bruce Springsteen made me feel like I had a chance. He made me feel alive. After the concert, I looked down at the dark, empty stage, shaking my head in disbelief. Disbelief that it was possible to feel so good, so happy, so energetic and alive, so very much the opposite of anything I had ever felt before. That night was the beginning of a transformation I could never have foreseen. Today I want to share 4 guiding principles that helped me in this transformation. Maybe they can help you too. The first guiding principle is connection. A year later, after having one desk too many thrown at me at the community college where I had taught for 5 years, I walked out the door and thought, that's it. I am never coming back. But as soon as I was in my car headed home, I was panicking. I was terrified that without the structure and focus of the classroom, I'd slide back into the abyss of depression. I wasn't doing ECT again. The last time had been a disaster. I knew I had to think outside the box to find a lifeline and find it fast. Then I remembered how hopeful and alive I felt at Springsteen concerts and that he was touring Australia in 4 months. And as I was merging onto the expressway, I thought, I know, I'll go to Australia in February and follow Bruce Springsteen. Now I have to tell you, I have to admit, I hate to travel and I hate to be alone. And remember, I hadn't known who this guy was a year earlier, but I was fighting for my life, so I went home and booked a trip. 8 concerts, 5 cities, over 26 days. The second guiding principle is perseverance. As soon as the trip was planned and paid for, the voice in my head said, Anne, you are so pathetic. You have nothing better to do than chase an aging rock star across the world. Over and over it looped. It was the first thing I heard in the morning and the last thing I heard as I wrestled myself to sleep. You are pathetic. until finally, a month before the trip, I couldn't ignore any longer that in exactly 28 days, I'd be on a 16-hour flight alone to the other side of the world. And for what? By now, I couldn't even remember what I liked about Bruce Springsteen. So I sat down and Googled him. And there he was, Super Bowl 2009, leaning into the camera and bellowing, "Is there anybody alive out there?" Chills went running through me. I watched that 11-minute video 10 more times that night and multiple times a day for the next 4 weeks. Until finally, on the dreaded day of departure, I watched it one last time, grabbed my suitcase, and headed to the airport. Halfway through the 16-hour flight, I went into the bathroom. As I was pushing the paper towel in the bin with one hand and unlatching the door with the other, I glimpsed myself in the mirror. I turned to face my reflection. My lips were turned up into a smile, and I could tell that I was excited. And as I studied my smile and felt my excitement, a sense of awe came over me. And I pictured Bruce Springsteen high above, looking down and smiling. And I thought, because of this man, Bruce Springsteen, a man who doesn't even know I exist, Anne Abel is about to land in Melbourne, Australia. I looked back at my reflection. You can do this. You are doing this. And I did. The third guiding principle is openness. I didn't go to Australia to change. I went for structure and focus, but change I did. The kindness of strangers on Australia had a big impact on me. At home, people rolled their eyes that I was chasing this rock star across the world. They didn't appreciate, care, or understand that I was fighting for my life. But in Australia, many people called me courageous. Young people told me they couldn't get their mothers off the couch to do things they had done before they retired. Each time someone said something positive about me, as disbelieving as I was, I stepped outside myself and tried to see the me they were seeing. And it was Bruce Springsteen who changed me also. Watching him sing Dream Baby Dream, I realized I'd never even thought about dreaming. I was too busy doing what I was told and hoping for my parents' acceptance. But that night, I floated out of the arena feeling like I could dream. It didn't happen right away, but I believe that once you feel something, it's easier to recreate it. Another night, he asked over and over, "How do you get through the day and stay alive inside?" Hearing him say this, I thought, if Bruce Springsteen can say this to an arena full of fans, I must not be the only one feeling like this. It's okay to struggle and to try and try again. I felt validated. And of course, the boss is so much fun. I had never done the 3-letter F word, fun, until I went to one of his concerts. When he sang "It's All Right to Have a Good Time," I took it to heart. It was okay for me to have fun, finally, after 60 years. I didn't go on this trip to change, but I came home a different person. For the first time in my life, I had a positive ball of energy and a story about me that I was proud of, a story about me that I wanted to tell. And that was just the beginning. The last principle is hope. After my trip, my husband and I moved to Chicago. Our first day there, our dog walker said that she hosted one of the city's many storytelling open mics and that she also told stories at the Moth. I had never heard of storytelling. I had never heard of the Moth, but I knew I had a story to tell, the story about my trip to Australia. I had never stood in front of a mic or on a stage, but I forced myself to go to open mics and tell my story. Then a friend insisted that I go with him to the Moth. When we got there, he insisted that I put my name in to try to tell a story. I was terrified, but I did it. When I was called as the last storyteller of the night, I went tripping on the stairs as I did. The lights were so bright, I couldn't see the audience. But as I spoke, I could hear them laughing, gasping, connecting. I told a 5-minute story about Australia and won that night's Story Slam. Until the days each of them died, my parents told me not to talk to them because I had nothing interesting to say. But now audiences were telling me something different. They inspired me to fight through writer's block and write High Hopes, a memoir about my trip to Australia. It was published 3 months ago. My first memoir, Mattie, Milo, and Me, was published last year. When the first book was released, the publisher said I should go on social media to try to promote it. This seemed daunting. But that afternoon, I asked another dog walker if she knew anyone who did social media. She gave me the name of Arseni, a 19-year-old computer science major who did social media for her. I now call Arseni Maestro or Steven Spielberg. In the last year, we've had 26 viral videos. I have over 720,000 followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Followers who like hearing my stories. Followers who say that my stories are comforting, inspiring, validating. It's surreal. It's as if these people are the antidote to my parents' toxicity. The transformation that began when I went to Australia 12 years ago continues today. 72 and 2 books. The first one is the publisher's all-time best-selling memoir. 72 and a social media influencer. 72 and recently relocated to New York City with my husband and dogs. None of this would have happened if I hadn't grabbed onto the Bruce Springsteen lifeline and followed his tour. None of this would have happened if I hadn't overridden my fears and done the only thing I could think of to try to stay out of the abyss and gone to Australia. The most powerful thing any of us can do, even when we can't see the path to transformation, is to take the first step toward a connection to someone, something. Then persevere with openness and hope until you find the story you want to tell. Thank you.